The purpose of this video is to demonstrate how to create object 5.32, object 1. So looking at the drawing there, the first thing that you have to realize here is that we've got a different system of dimensioning here. You can see these little marks here on the sides are what I call tick marks. And so there are two sets of tick marks there. This one here, these are what I call large tick marks, and see the distance between there is set at a ½ inch. Those are what we call large tick marks. And it's the distance between the actual marks themselves that I'm talking about, and not the length of them, okay? So small tick marks are, on the other hand, right over here, and these are worth a 1/4 of an inch, okay? And once again, it's a 1/4 of an inch between those two lines. So using this information here, we're going to use this to calculate how long the object is in its overall dimensions. So first thing we're going to do for our drawing here is to create a title block. So we need to go ahead and put our name on here. Now I'm using a pen here because you can see it better on the video, but the best tool for this particular drawing would be a pencil. Today's date, which would be 3/16/2020. And it's 5.32 object 1. All right, so getting the other part of this set up here, we're going to put a dot down the lower left-hand corner, 4 up, 4 over. Now we need to indicate how long this object is and its height for the front view. So as I said, these are ½ inch tick marks, the big tick marks, and so what I'm going to do is I'm going to count these up and then multiply by 2, because there are 2 1/4 inch blocks for each ½ inch increment. So watch how I do this. So it's 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14. 14 blocks long. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. All right, that indicates how long the object is. Now I need to figure out its height. Well, I see the height here. Once again, ½ inch tick marks, so there's 2, 4, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So all I'm doing is projecting over a second dot here, indicating the overall dimensions of the object in the front view. Now, as I take a look at this object here, I can see the main feature of it is the fact that it's a U-shaped channel, okay? So what that means is I can go ahead and start connecting up a few dots here. I can go ahead and connect up the right and the left. I can go ahead and connect up the bottom, but I can't close up the top here because it is not a rectangle. All right, so what I have to do instead is I have to go ahead and define these flat pieces right here. And so I can see now these are small tick marks, so the distance between there is smaller than what we had originally. So these are worth quarters, so 1, 2, 3/4 of an inch. So 1, 2, 3. Now this one back here, ½ inch increment, worth 2 blocks. 1, 2. Now I need the total depth of this. I see the total depth is listed right here. It's 1/4 inch increments, small tick marks, 1, 2, 3. So I'm going to count down 1, 2, 3 blocks. And that's going to give me the information I need to go ahead and close this polygon up. Something like that. All right, so now that I have the overall profile shape of this set, now what I need to do is define this little cutout right here, okay? Now this cutout here is like someone took a saw and sawed about 1/4 of this away. Now I do need to know from left to right where this edge is, and so I see here there's 3 big tick marks, so 2, 4, 6. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Vertical line right there, it's a visible line. I can go ahead and label this front. Now we're not finished yet because we've got 2 holes in this. Now the holes on this, they're all the way through, that's one thing, and they're either a ½ inch in diameter, about 90% of them are ½ inch in diameter on this particular plate of exercises. So what I need to do is just verify that. Yep, I see 2 small tick marks there, which tells me that these holes are ½ inch in diameter. Now, before we get too far along here, we need to talk about these 2 terms here. We've got radius and diameter. Now, when we talk about radius, it's from the center point of the circle out to the edge of it, and that's the radius. Now, diameter, on the other hand, is the distance from edge of the circle to the edge of the circle, a straight line drawn through the center. That's the diameter. Now, there is a mathematical relationship to this here, and we need to understand this here so we can proceed on with our drawing. Radius is half the diameter, okay? Or you could say the diameter is twice the radius, okay? So keep this in mind here, because we're going to be using this as we go ahead and draw our drawing. Now, getting back to the object here, we've got these two holes that we need to describe, but they're not going to be visible in this view here, in the front view, so they're going to be drawn as hidden lines. So what I need to do is identify where the edges of the circles are from left to right. So what I'm doing here is there's no real indicator about what this distance is here, so I compare it to this distance, which I know is set at 1/4. So what I'm saying is that one edge of this circle is 1/4 inch from this vertical surface, and then it's 1/2 inch in diameter. So then here's how it works. 1/4 inch over one block, I'm going to draw a hidden line here indicating the left edge of the circle. Now I know it's 1/2 inch in diameter, which means 2 blocks, so I'm going to go ahead and put a matching hidden line right here. All right, so that takes care of the leftmost hole. Now the right hole, what we have to do is, after much puzzling over, I've kind of decided, and it makes sense to me, that this hole is centered right on this edge right here. All right, so it's 1/2 inch in diameter. That means 1/4 inch of it will go on either side of this edge. So what does that mean for our drawing? Well, I'm going to go ahead and put a hidden line right here, and then measuring over 1/2 inch in diameter, put a matching hidden line over there, and that's both the right and left edge of that hole for this backmost hole. Okay, so the front view is complete. Now I'm going to go ahead and measure up 4 units of space. 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm going to go ahead and put a line right, or a dot right there, indicating the length of the object. I'm going to check my drawing again here. I see that it is 2, 4, 6, 8 blocks deep. So 4 large tick marks. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I'm going to do the same here. Now, overall, this is a rectangle in the top view, the profile is, with the exception of this cutout right here. So I'm going to go ahead and close up the left side and the back. And I'm going to leave the front and the right side open for now. Now, what we have to do is identify where this cutout is. Well, we know some of that information from the front view. I can merely project this along here like this, right along that edge that I've created there, and I could go ahead and connect up that line to that part. But I need to know what the depth of this is, so I take a look up here. See, I see these small tick marks, 1, 2, 3. Now, as I'm counting these here, people, remember I'm counting the space in between there, not the actual lines themselves. Okay, so 1, 2, 3/4 of an inch. So 1, 2, 3. And you see now I can go ahead and close this thing up here and create a polygon. Okay, closed polygon. All right, so there's that. Now I've got a couple flat spots I need to indicate in the top view. Okay, this flat spot and that flat spot. And so all I have to do is just project these up along this grid line here and draw a vertical edge across there. Same way on here, just project up, put a dot, vertical edge across. All right, so now the only thing I have left to do is take care of these holes. Now remember, we know where the hole is located from right to left because we can see its location in the front view. Now what I need to know is its distance from front to back, right? So as I said, front hole, or the leftmost hole, is 1/4 inch back, and it's 1/2 inch in diameter. So here's how I handle this. I go ahead and take this center line here because it's exactly in between these two hidden lines. I project that up, and what I'm going to do is measure back from front to back 1/4 of an inch. Okay, just like we see as illustrated right here on the drawing. All right, so now I know the whole diameter is 1/2, so I'm counting back two units. And then I go ahead and measure over a unit to each side of the center point, and that'll give me the outside boundary lines of that hole. So all I have to do is sketch in this hole just like that, okay? Now the backmost hole, as I said, it's centered here, but it's also 1/4 inch from the back. So what I'm doing here is projecting along the center point of this, and I'm measuring back 1 unit, okay? Because it's 1/4 inch from the back edge of the object. Hole is 2 inches in diameter, and then the radius, of course, is going to be 1/4 inch to either side. And then I'm going to go ahead and close up that circle. So now I have 2 circular shapes indicating the holes for this particular object. All right, that's your top view. Looks pretty good. All right, right side view. Well, the right side view is if we're taking a look at this object from this direction. And so what I'm going to do is get set up with a couple of dots. 1, 2, 3, 4. Same way here. I already know what the depth of the object is because I described it already. you know. Looking back on this here, it's 8 units back, just like it is right here. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Now I evaluate the right side of this here. Well, I'm going to see this as a rectangle, so I can go ahead and close these lines up here to give me a rectangle, just like that. Now, taking a look back on the drawing here, I want to go ahead and draw this rectangle here, right in this position here, but the question is where is this vertical line? Well, you remember, we discussed that already. It's 3/4 of an inch from the front to the back, so 1, 2, 3. Vertical line at this position, okay? Now, I've got this bottom edge here. See this whole surface right here? It's right in line with this here, so I just project it over from the front view. And the interesting thing about this line here is it starts out as a visible line because that's part of the cutout right here. Well, this surface continues on. Look, it continues on, so it's going to go back here, starting at that edge, that vertical edge, and it's going to continue on as a hidden edge because this part of it is blocking our view of it, okay? All right, so we got the right side pretty well hammered out. We got to get the holes in there. And so, once again, I rely on my top view to help me with the right side view. So this first hole I can see is a 1/4 inch from the back toward the front. So I'm going to go ahead and start here, and I'm going to put a hidden line. Now some of you might be tempted to go all the way to the top, but look, this hole only goes through this piece right here. So it stops right here at that hidden line. The hole's diameter is a 1/2 inch, so I'm going to go ahead and draw a hidden line there. And now I've got the frontmost hole, okay? Well, same thing. It's a 1/4 inch from the front edge back toward the back, hidden line there. And then I'd like to put a matching hidden line right here, but guess what? I've got an object line in front of it, a visible line, and so placing a dotted line over that's not gonna, or a dashed line is not gonna help, okay? So at this point here, I've got all the details for this particular drawing. I'm gonna go ahead and put some extension lines in here, and I'm gonna put the word length. Put my arrowheads touching the extension line. And then I've got height. So I spell it H-E-I-G-H-T. And then I've got length, or excuse me, depth. All right, well, that concludes your grid sketch for Object 1 of Plate 5.32. Good luck with your drawing, and we'll talk with you soon.